All right. Painting a unit of silent men and BSing around about stuff. Let's change the name of the stream. It's Monday. Monday. I'm a little early, but hey, let's go to that and go down here. Sorry about that. I'm belched. Orlando by night. Hunger by night. I bet you he's probably not even awake, that biatch. That's okay though. I'll send him invites anyway. They'll wake him up because his phone will go off. And if we can get him on, he can tell us all about what's going on up there on the mountainside, where apparently they had a pretty good snow and a lot of ice. So that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. I screenshotted everybody's Tauslanta character and posted it. Jimmy, we care about you, and see, from 4 years ago, it's the girl that got shot January 6th. So just leave it over there. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. No. I do probably need to eat something. I will, baby. Thank you. No, you're sick. Go lay down. You shouldn't even be up doing stuff. Yeah, well, you shouldn't be taking care of me when you're sick. All right. Only one person it can be. Look at this guy.
You sent me messages on 2 different platforms.
Well, I have to make sure you get it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna pay attention to it, but I figured that'd be nice.
It's probably in your best interest.
Yeah.
So how's it going up there, man?
All the snow melted last night, this morning, and it was frozen.
Nice. So frozen mud everywhere.
And then that dried out and melted, and then it started snowing again a little bit ago.
Yeah,
I was able to go to the store and got home before it started again.
So typical Appalachian weather.
Yep. It's supposed to snow every day until like Friday.
What store do you go to? The Asian market?
No, I was able to go to the Dollar General, like right down the road.
Oh, okay. Did you get you any sugar-free Big Reds?
I got some Diet Dr. Peppers because that's my jam.
Yeah, when I'm up there, I always like to drink the Big Reds.
I love the Big Reds, but
you can't get those down here.
Red dye does not do very well with my body.
Well, they got blue Big Reds. They're not called Big Blues, though, which is weird, but
I got me some Diet Dr. Pepper. I got a Super Electrolyte Gatorade, and I got some electrolyte powder to mix with water.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need them electrolytes.
Then Mom made us fried codfish for dinner.
Oh, nice.
I made Papa pizza because he's like, "You make the best pizzas, boy."
You made him a pizza. Nice.
Yeah, pepperoni, sausage, onion, and green pepper.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pizza is good.
So how's my brother doing?
I am painting up the third unit for my House Greyjoy army.
I know. I watched your video.
You did?
Hmm.
Aw. That's very kind of you.
Well, I am a good brother.
Did you like it and share it?
I liked it.
Because if you like and share it, then more people see it.
I never share anything.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate then.
Sharing is caring.
And you don't care.
Exactly.
Damn, that's mean.
I can't believe nobody's actually in the chat.
I don't even think anybody's watching. I think it's early. Everybody's probably still at work.
Yeah, and Justin and Shadwell just started their show.
What in the hell do they do a show in the afternoon for?
They always do a show on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They had to do it late today, I guess, because Justin had to go to the office.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, they took over my time slot.
Oh.
So I'm thinking about starting to do a show on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Just be like, man, that ain't right. But yeah, so I'm painting up the Silent Men.
Nice. Me and Mother watched Dune 2 today.
Dune, the part due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they could have picked, hey, what's up, James Lowry? They could have picked anybody else to be Cheney, and it would have been 100 times better.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like the person they got to pick, Zendaya or whatever, is like a plank of freaking wood.
But I tell you,
they also wrote her wrong too, because
yeah, they turned her into a bitch.
Yeah, because Chani, who was a redhead, but you know how they always got to get rid of all the redheads.
Big Vic. Yeah.
Chani was a redhead, and she was 100% about the whole Paul Muad'Dib thing.
Yeah, she was like his biggest supporter. Now, right. I will say, the kid they got to play Feyd-Rautha.
Yeah, that's one of the Skarsgårds, I think.
No, he's that kid who played Elvis in the Elvis movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and he did really, really good. He was a spooky ass Feyd-Rautha.
Yeah, but Feyd should have had hair. He should have had hair. It should have been red. The dude should have had curly red hair.
They made all the Harkonnens bald for some reason.
You know, I mean, they were going for the scary part, but they could have done it and still stuck to
his birthday fight where they turned everything black and white. That was pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, overall, it was a decent movie.
The only part of that movie, what's up, Vic?
Not much, not much.
The only part of that movie that annoyed me was Zendaya. Zendaya is the weakness of that movie.
Zendaya, they've been trying to push her down everybody's throat.
Ungar still has that extra gray.
Right. You know what? Shut up. But yeah, Zendaya was the worst part of that movie. They're pushing her down everybody's throat.
Yeah, they should have put her in movies, and it's like, how is this woman getting any roles? She basically sucks in everything she's in.
You know that one really blue-eyed girl who was in True Detective?
True Detective.
Woody Harrelson's woman or whatever in True Detective.
The girlfriend or the side piece?
The one that had the really blue eyes.
Okay.
She should have been Cheney because she already had the eyes for it.
Well, what you would have needed is a 17-year-old girl with red hair.
Yeah, but they don't cast redheaded people anymore.
You know who would have made a better Chaney than Zendaya would have been the girl they got to play Sansa.
Yeah, or the girl that, or a fence post with a red wig.
Yeah, that would have worked too, you know? But I don't know what they're going to do if they make a Dune 3 because they already did too much of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, will the third movie be the war? I mean, where the Fremen spread out across the galaxy and basically burn everything to the ground? And then, of course, this is something I noticed having read the first book. They made a point of calling Paul's War a crusade, but in the book, it is always referred to as a jihad.
Yeah.
Because the Fremen religion, well, actually, the Orange Catholic Church is a blend of Christianity and Islam.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I'm a dude. I've read and listened to that book a dozen times.
So it's like, why don't you call Paul's War the jihad, which is what Paul called it, and everyone else called it the Great Jihad, you know? But no, they got called a crusade.
Well, crusades are cooler than the jihad.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes away from the fact that the Fremen were descendants of Egyptian Sufi mystics.
Yeah.
That had been enslaved and abused for thousands of years before they finally settled on Dune. Which means Jameis would have looked like an Egyptian. He would not have looked like a dreadlocked black guy.
Well, you can't tell me they weren't no Africans in Egypt.
20,000 years later on, you think that the race on the tribes would not have become homogenous?
Who knows?
I do. Because it's basic biology.
Okay, I'm not a biologist.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, if you were to take
that doesn't
generation ship and put an equal number of every human ethnicity on that ship and send it out into space for 10,000 years, you would end up with one ethnicity.
That doesn't bother me at all, though.
It bothers me. I like my
everything bothers you sometimes.
I like my movies to respect the lore, you know? And if a character, it's like making Liet Kynes a woman.
Yeah, that did aggravate the shit out of me.
Well, why did that aggravate the shit out of you?
Because there's a difference between a hang low and a one's got an innie and one's got an outie. Okay.
Well, not only did they make Liet a woman, they made her a black woman.
Well, they had to because Chani's the daughter and she's black too, I guess.
Is Zendaya black? I don't
know what she is.
Yeah, I don't know. But whereas in the books, he wasn't even really a Fremen. He was from off-world, and even though he was old, he had sandy blonde hair.
Yeah, well, he had been there for so long that he was a Fremen by then.
Well, I mean, yeah, he had become their like underground leader, but
and
he wasn't actually born on Dune. That's what I'm saying.
What they were doing with Chani is like she kept on throwing up, "You're not a Fremen. You're not." Well, Paul did end up becoming like the Fremen of Fremen.
Yeah, right. It's like
shit, but she had to keep on throwing up in his face that he wasn't Fremen, and I was like,
well, her and her little group of feminist Fremen girlfriends that she's always hanging out with in the movie, they're also sitting there being all like hypercritical of Stilgar.
That would have happened.
Talking about how, you know, the men from the southern Seaches are full of superstitions.
Yeah. Stilgar would have called them out for that shit.
Well, I mean, they were saying it secretly to themselves, so you know.
Yeah, because Stilgar would have never found out and killed about half of them.
But you see what I mean? They're trying to make her out to be an atheist, rationalist that don't really believe in the prophecy of Paul Muad'Dib, while the whole time, you know.
In the book, she was 100%
Oh
about
yeah, you know who else was 100% behind Paul, but they never show her.
who?
Jameis's wife.
Oh yeah, well, he became Jameis. He became Paul's wife, and Jameis had two sons that ended up becoming
Part of
his
the Fedaykin.
Fedaykin. Yeah, and his bodyguards.
Right.
But they never
Because
showed Jameis's wife because
right,
when Paul killed Jameis, Paul got all of Jameis's possessions, including his wife and children.
right. And I mean, if you want to talk about if your goal is to tell a story about a brave woman doing like awesome shit, that would be Jameis's wife, who, were it not for her, Paul would have died.
Yeah,
You know,
full times.
had it not been for her guiding him through the subtleties of Fremen culture, he would have definitely gotten killed
Multiple times.
multiple times. He would have effed up and found out the wrong way. But she was always there to help him out. Not that he ever slept with her or anything, but he took
Well,
care of her, you know? So
we don't know if Paul ever slept with her or not.
if it didn't say it happened, it didn't happen. Besides that, Paul was in love with Cheney.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jenny
he
was
married Erlon, who was absolutely gorgeous. Never slept with her, I don't think.
never because like Jessica says, the concubines end up being the ones that matter.
Right.
I'll be back in a minute.
Are you back? I miss you already.
Okay, Hunger.
So, Vic, I assume
Yes,
that
sir.
you're enjoying the snow.
What snow?
You ain't got any snow?
I see brown grass outside. We got more brown grass here than we got snow.
Yeah, Hungars was telling me Kentucky's doing what Kentucky does. It snows, it melts, it freezes, it snows, it melts, it freezes. They're getting snow every day for the next week, but then it thaws and freezes. So you end up with a good thick layer of ice over the mud. So, you know.
Yeah, and then it turns. Then if you put enough weight on that ice, it turns it. Then you're just stuck in the frozen mud.
And then like spring comes and there's like, you know, it's like trying to travel through the Eastern Front in World War II, or the Western Front, you know, or Eastern. You know, it's just mud. And it's that nice thick sticky red mud that when you get it on you, it just stays on you.
Oh
yeah. I love that stuff.
That's par for the course, ain't it?
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Hey, one man's beauty is another man's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is, to me, it's beautiful when I see the mountain is just 100% white, and you know, you got the snow hanging off the trees and everything. I just think that is the most beautiful thing ever. But, you know, other people would disagree. And, you know, I mean, it's never going to be like Minnesota. I mean, you know.
Well, like I said, I'm glad this is a mild winter here. I'm gonna be heading down there in, I think, June here. And when I get down there, I'm gonna be a happy camper.
Down into the sea, you know, out 90 miles away from where we're at, it's no snow until Friday.
Right.
But it's been snowed up here at the parents' house. Like,
another reason the wife is thinking Tennessee is because the niece, one of the mini nieces lives in Tennessee or whatever, and she's going to have a baby,
Nice. I knew that.
and the wife is wanting to be near that.
Can you blame her?
No. I mean, I told her, whatever then.
Tennessee's great. I love Tennessee.
I think she lives on the north side of Tennessee, so we could still live in Kentucky and be an hour away.
I live in the north side of Tennessee.
Right. So, but she also hates income tax, and I don't blame her. So do I.
Yeah, state income tax is stupid. And Kentucky does have a high state income tax.
And income tax is theft. Well, all tax is theft.
All tax is theft.
Right.
So, Joe, how you doing?
Satya, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope Finland's doing well. We were just talking about how beautiful it is in my home state when there's snow on the mountains and everything is just beautiful and pristine.
And I've lived in this state more than you have, and you've lived in my home state more than I have.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?
No.
Of course, for Satya, that's what, about 6 or 7 months out of the year in Finland.
Our mother said that I am just as much a Kentuckian as you are. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes, not often, but sometimes mom is just wrong.
Ooh, I'm going to tell her that.
You can tell her. If she says that, you can say, nope, Chip says you're wrong, because no matter how much you want to be a Kentuckian, you were not born there.
Hey, I'm a salty cracker. I'm okay.
I'm just saying, if you're not born there, you can't be that.
Yeah, you'll never be
a Florida man, because I was not born in Florida. Regardless of whether I live here, I was not born here. It's just the way it is.
I am the Florida man of our family, the first one in our family born in Florida.
You are.
Out of uncles, aunts, everybody.
Yeah, you are the first Florida man in our family, and I am, I think, the last Kentuckian in our family.
You are.
Pretty much everyone born in my family after me was, well, on my mom's side, was born in Florida. A lot of snow, but not, well, for you, what you say is not that cold. People over here would probably be losing their minds. Like in where I live in Orlando, if the temperature drops below 60 degrees, you'd think it was the apocalypse. Like I go out wearing my Adidas tracksuit because, I got to rep my people. And there's people bundled up and freaking, jackets and shit.
I didn't get my jacket out of my car until it hit 19 degrees.
Right. That's what's weird about Kentucky is the last time I've been up there, it's like last year, it was like 10 degrees, but to me, it did not feel cold. I was wearing a long sleeve shirt and a pair of jeans.
Yeah, my heavy jacket is a denim jacket.
Okay, so Satya says that they've been reading the Birthright Campaign book and painting heavy intercessors and Land Raider Crusaders. Awesome. I just put a video out. I will show you because this guy's pretty much done except for the base. I am painting a unit of, as they are called, Silent Men. There he is.
That is a nice mini.
Which is, oh, dude, it took me less than 20 minutes to paint that.
I like that copper armor.
Yeah, for some reason, a lot of the Greyjoy guys wear brass or copper armor.
Because it doesn't rust.
Yeah, I would say that's probably it, because it doesn't rust when they're on their ships.
They're on ships a lot.
Yeah.
Every time I come down to Florida and it's 50 degrees out, I love seeing you guys down there. They're in their winter jackets all huddled up and stuff, and I'm sitting there walking around with a pair of shorts and no socks and sandals and a t-shirt. And I'm like, Hey, it's great outside.
Yeah.
That's how I dress half the time during the winter up here. It's like I very rarely put on a long sleeve shirt or a jacket.
Yeah,
It's
but
got to be like really. But I lived in Iowa. I went to college in North Dakota, and I lived in Alaska. So
right.
I've been in cold weather before. So
Yeah.
this stuff here is
That's
not
what I was
real.
gonna say. There's nothing up there like Minot.
Yeah, they're none up here like why not
No,
mine.
no, 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 no. Come on, James. How many times do I have to correct you on this? It's called mind rot.
Oh well, that's where my brother went to university.
Yeah, well, it's Mind Rot, North Dakota. Jesus Christ, your brain. There's nothing to do up there back in the
And
80s.
Iowa,
Nothing.
Iowa gets a little chilly too.
Well, apparently there was something to do up there during the 80s, and it was that Air Force pilot. What was her name?
Yeah, but I think that was the '90s when I was up there. And everybody was doing her.
Yeah, she got in trouble because she was basically throwing it around all over the base.
So like that one chick from the police in Tennessee, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That ended up she had slept
Oh,
with like
yeah, I heard about that lady. Jesus
she
Christ.
slept with every. But you know what? That's just how it is with police departments and fire departments.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Satya. One thing, at least with the Greyjoys, I am noticing is the ones I've painted so far are very easy to paint. You know, they either wear green or teal cloaks, and they're wearing lots of cloaks, and most of the clothes they're wearing are gray. So, I mean, those are really easy colors to put down. And then throw some saddle leather boots and whatever on them, and call them done, man. It's like I made a video showing me actually paint from beginning to end one of the Silent Men, and I think it was like 15 minutes to paint the figure complete.
Yeah, it was a 23-minute video.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I have a question
I-
What
for
do
you.
you think?
Go ahead.
All right, this is like one of those intellectual things. I'm going to defrock or disenfranchise a paladin because he's been cursed and his skin color has went from whitey white to blacky black, and I need to know. And he's been hanging out with some druids and some other nefarious ones. What do you think? How do you think I should go about
Well, he's
this?
got to lose a level.
He's got to lose a level.
Yeah.
How?
No, excommunication.
Well, the reason
Excommunicate.
Hungvar says lose a level is in AD&D First Edition. If you are forced to change class
Oh,
or
you're losing
alignment,
level.
you lose a level.
Oh, okay.
Change
And
them
you
into a
go
fighter?
to halfway up from that other level that you drop. They do not so. That's
Well,
right.
guess what?
They
He's
iron
the first level, so it's gonna matter.
Also,
Oh, he's a
when you
level
say
0
you're
peasant
painting his
now.
Skin black. Do you mean African brown or do you mean like
was
obsidian
expecting-
black?
Yeah, I was.
Obsidian black. He got hyperpigmentation as a curse, and his skin has been slowly. He picked up a weapon, and it's now it's going from whitey white to blacky black. I mean, he's going the full.
So he's going to look like
the
a
full
freak
body.
in your
Mhm.
world.
So he's got a cursed weapon. He's got a curse. He loses his paladin abilities. He gets excommunicated. He drops down from, if he's first level, then he wouldn't even be first level. But if he's
Yeah,
close
zero
to the
level
second
is a
level,
thing. You
his
can
XP
be.
Yep.
his XP is going to drop halfway from first level to second level if he has any XP,
Or 0 to first.
or 0 to first.
Because there is an optional rule where characters can start their characters at 0 level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would be just a 0 level fighter.
Yep.
Yep.
The next bunch I'm going to do, Satya, I think are Lannisters.
I love their love story.
Because other than the Cleganes, they are mostly red and gold, and those are two colors that I'm pretty good at painting. Mainly because I've painted probably 100,000 points worth of Blood Angels in my day.
Yeah.
So throwing red down is like second nature to me.
I got a question for the left. Are you getting any of this winter storm where you're at, Left Oleus?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of that. Bit of an ice storm right now.
Yep.
With the generator ready and everything.
Yep. We got the generator ready. I filled my tank up today when I was able to get out for 30 minutes in between storms.
In between storms, right?
I've decided to just take my recliner, put it by my computer, and start just sitting that with the cover on, just because it's kind of cold.
Yeah, I'm laying down right now underneath my big thick quilt.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here because it's like 70 degrees.
Starts to cool, but I just really love the Lannister love story. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hungar, have you been seeing Hungar?
Yeah.
You haven't seen all these semi-truck accidents?
Oh, I
lately?
talked to my old lady today. She's up on, she's in Colorado outside of Vail on 70. And they put chain requirements out. So she just parked. She's like,
well, that's a smart girl. Because that's what I
driver with her. And I told her, if it's bad enough that you need chains, just park. It's not worth it. She's like, okay. So that's what she does now.
Yeah,
well, you trained her.
I've been watching all these accidents, and then I did a little informal survey by looking at the trucks and seeing what these guys are driving. And you know what most of the accidents are part of? It's all automatic transmissions. These guys have got automatic transmissions and stuff. Then they're driving, and they're just wiping it out.
Jamie,
I'm just
Vic, the reason I was in my truck accident is because they put us in a brand new T34 Kenworth automatic transmission.
Was it a dash 85 or a dash 76?
We wouldn't let him downshift. Let it downshift, and the e-brake went out. We're going down Mount Eagle in Tennessee.
Hunger, did you not hear me though?
No, I didn't.
Your T34, was it a dash 76 or a dash 85, and was it OBR 43 or 44?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about a tank.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of wrecks out there. I mean, Swift is still functioning. Sacha, this is these are Stark guys. The way this game works, because the people who make the game, Seaman, are way no, they're not pre-primed. They're molded in the color of their house. So like all the Lannister figures are molded in red plastic. All the Starks are molded in this kind of light blue. All of the Greyjoys are molded in like this color green. So the reason they do that is the company that makes this game, they're all like, hey, if you don't want to paint them, you ain't got to. Because it's going to be super apparent. Like here's Clegane, which these guys are going to be different because the symbol for House Clegane is yellow. So any cloth on them will be yellow. But so yeah, you don't have to actually paint these miniatures if you don't want to. And of course, you magnetized them all.
You got a spammer on Discord.
Yeah, but they usually only do that like one time and then go away, so I don't bother it.
Okay, just letting you know.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Like right here, I have Lannister red cloaks, and they're mostly just wearing red and metal armor. So there's your, and on the back, you can see they're all red to start with. But what I'll do is I'll primer them black, and then I'll do a zenithal, and then I'll go over them with blood red contrast paint, the red parts. And then I'll go over the metal parts with shining silver speed paint from Army Painter, and do whatever gold I need to do. And these guys are apparently a really powerful unit for the Lannister household.
Oh, I've noticed something. I'm going to change the subject for a second.
What?
A lot of people are using Restream now. Even Max Lau, Legion of Myth,
It's
they did
cheaper.
the show on Restream. And I would like to put out there that I was like the first.
Well, here's the thing. I can do a restream for a 1/8 of what it costs to do the other one.
And I was like, I just want to say, I was like one of the first.
So let's see what these guys are doing. They got a 5 movement, 7 attacks at 3+, a 4+ armor save. They got the Lannister Justice. So while you control the crown, each time this unit performs an action before resolving the action, one enemy unit of your choice within long range suffers a panic test with -1 to the roll for each remaining rank in this unit. And while you control the money bags, this unit suffers -1 wound from failed panic test.
Now, can you have Joffrey in your Lannister army?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
I just want to get home and just send him out and get killed every day.
Yeah, I had a hard time with contrast paints on Space Marines until I figured them out. And then I painted up my entire Blood Angels 30K Legion using the Blood Angels red contrast paint, and it went quick. Right now, I've got, I don't know, at least 5,000 points of Legion 9 painted. But, I mean, 175 or something of those points is Sanguinius up there.
Well, brother, I'm going to bounce out.
What? You ain't even been here 15 minutes.
Dang it.
I've been here 30 minutes.
Hey,
Oh
Hang on.
Jesus! You're such a hard timer
I'm
there.
hanging out, but I'm also in bed and I'm very tired.
yeah, well, so
I'm
So
falling asleep.
yeah,
get up.
No,
Hang out with your brother. I haven't seen you in a long time.
since yesterday.
Hey, you
oh, you're so spoiled, Hungar.
you can tell what people care about by what they make time for.
I make time for you every day.
But
I
not
don't,
enough.
I don't talk to my wife as much as I talk to you.
Yeah, but that's because she's driving. I'm not driving. I'm sitting here. My wife is sick, and I'm painting miniatures. So you should be here with me. The vehicles, I did not contrast paint for the most part. I bought the Blood Angels Red Rattle Can or Mephiston Red, and I rattle canned them, and then just did all the detail work and the rust and the freaking staining and stuff. But if you try to, I just did not have good results trying to contrast paint big things. But the good thing is, since my whole army is mostly Mark III, Mark IV Space Marines, there's so many bumps and crevices and things in those guys that the contrast paints work out great. But if you try to contrast paint like Mark VI, Mark VII, Mark VIII, Mark IX, because their armor's so flat, R2D2's going off. Because their armor's so flat, the contrast paint, if you don't watch it, it'll end up looking streaky. Now, I don't know what like bunch you're painting, whether you're painting Primaris or whatever, but that's just my experience. But yeah, I would contrast paint all of my Marines, and then when they were dry, I would take some Pro Acryl bright something red, and I would give them a light dry brush over the whole miniature, and it really made them pop. I mean, they looked like Blood Angels. And then, paint the backpack silver, paint the bolter silver, because this is 30K. So, the color palette is a lot more subdued, I guess.
Tuck, Ogre, how you doing?
Nerdy Ogre.
Nick, is that your ringtone, the R2D2?
No, that's mine.
I take,
That's mine, so I can hear it over the semi truck when you're driving down
Yeah.
the road. I couldn't hear a normal ringtone, but I could hear the R2D2 going off. So I was like, "Hey,
I changed
that.
my ringtone to Erica.
Did you?
What's
Yeah.
The song,
Yeah.
Erica.
Are you lying?
No.
Cool. Yeah, if you translate what R2D2 is saying there, he's saying that C3PO is gay.
Yep.
Because R2's always like, damn,
Oh,
C3PO.
Nerd
Why you
gets
so
it
clown?
room, I think.
Who's doing what?
I think the goblin is in the green room.
I don't see him.
Said he's here. I'm here.
He's
so.
here. Oh, no, that's his answer to how are you doing?
Oh,
I'm here. You know? Like when
Yeah.
you go to work and somebody's like, how you doing today? And you're like, well, I'm here.
you goblin.
Or my favorite saying when I go to work and people be like, how you doing? And I'd say, can you guess, Hungar?
Better than dead.
Nope.
What?
One of two things. I would either say it is what it is or living the dream.
Mine is if I was any better, I'd be twins, and we'd all be in trouble.
Yeah. Yours is a lot nicer. Mine's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yep. Greeting you, bloodthirsty savage.
Greetings, all you bloodthirsty savages. Hello, Jeff.
Okay, I guess that's a new one. Better than reprobate.
Yeah.
Well, I have to admit, I am a little bit of a bloodthirsty savage, so
And a reprobate.
and a reprobate. So I take
No
no
offense.
offense at that.
Not when people come on and they're like, hi, gentlemen. I'm like, who the hell you talking to?
Like, yeah, you might be on the wrong channel.
Hi, Gentle Monster.
There are no gentlemen here. Yeah, gentle monsters. That's more like. But all right. So I gotta paint up this Baylor Black Tide figure.
I had it there.
Balon the Widowmaker, I call him. I will gladly trade his freedom for a father. Have you one to give? Yeah, because Balon killed his dad. He's still pissed off about it. He is the captain of the Night Flyer. His unit is unyielding, and he has boldness and courage. And he costs 2 points to add to a unit. And it just so happens that I have a unit of completed. Well, I still got to put the rocks and everything on their bases, but Black Tide troops. You see that empty thing there? That's where he's going to be. Actually, he won't be there. In this game, if you add attachments to units, they have to be in the front leftmost place. And then the more attachments you add, they keep going from left to right. But so there's my Black Tide Raiders, and I'm going to put Balon with them, which will make that an 8-point unit. But these guys are your serious, like, if you need somebody to hold an objective, these are the guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they got decent armor, they got good attacks, their morale is relatively good, and they with Balon, they just don't run. You know what I mean? They're just going to stay. So that I've got 2 units of them. One will be led by Balon. I'll keep them right next to each other, and that'll be the center of my force. So yeah, not good, not bad. So as the Spanish would say, Nerdy Ogre, a C, which is doing all right. You know, I mean, you know, I'm alive. A C. But
Well, I gotta go take care. I gotta go
work
take
on
care
their
of
flag because the Black Tide family do not use the standard Greyjoy flag. So everything that's dark green is getting ready to get painted black.
brother. I gotta go take care of stuff. I'll see you later.
Oh my God! Just keep making up.
All right, see you there,
Why don't you?
Hungar.
You hear me? Just making up excuses, telling stories. I'll talk to you later, Hungar. Oh, he already left, that bastard. SOCKS. Yep, it is what it is. But yeah. Him and his, I like the Lannister love story. Buh. Yeah, okay. I heard that before. I mean,
Oh, it's got to be better than Twilight.
Now, Satya, if you're still watching, yes, I do have this.
Okay,
This
let's see
is the
here.
starter kit. And you only need this to play the game. You don't need anything else. Not that I'm trying to sell you, but that's one thing that's kind of good. This comes with Robb Stark, Catelyn Stark, Sansa Stark, Great John Umber, Grey Wind, which is, of course, the Warg, 1 Umber champion, 11 Umber Berserkers, an Umber Berserker Bannerman, and then 2 units of Stark Sworn Swords, and then 1 unit of Karstark Spearmen. And the way this game works, yeah, in US, these are under 90, they're like $80, I guess. But and then you can, of course, buy other little boxes like this one for every army to add a unit. This is a unit box. These are around $20 or so, depending on the unit. But it comes with terrain, dice, counters, movement trays, everything you would need, a rule book, a link to a online army builder app. And one thing this game has is tactic cards, and tactic cards modify things that happen on the battlefield. And basically, both sides get 20 tactic cards. But of the 20 tactic cards you get, 6 of them are going to be dependent upon whoever your commander is. So, like, see, I got to be that special floofy guy. I put all my tactical cards in special Greyjoy sleeves. Or actually, it should be like that. But anyway, so you've got your typical Greyjoy cards, which anyone can take. Like we pay the iron price, etc., etc., etc. But then you get to take, like, since my commander is going to be Victarion Greyjoy, the Iron Captain, I get to add Victarion's cards in. So Rush of Aggression is one of them, and Assault Orders. And of course, he has more than that. He's got Sustained Assault. And, so you take his 6 cards and you add them to the 14 General Greyjoy cards, like We Do Not Sow. And during the course of the game, there you get the option to play these cards, and they affect like things that are happening. So just because you're playing a house like Stark, a house with Stark as the commander is going to play totally different than a house if you had Great John Umber as your commander, or the 12-year-old Mormont girl. They're going to play totally different. Like Lannister, if I really want to, I could build an entire Lannister army, 50 points, and it could be 100% Clegane. So, I mean, loyal to Lannister, but it would all be House Clegane. And then if you really want to be an asshole, you can play House Bolton. But so this would be my starting deck, which you would shuffle. And then you can, certain things allow you to draw cards. And then you can play those cards when you do certain things. Like this card says, when a friendly unit performs a charge action before rolling the charge distance die, because you got to roll, you just count the charge die as a 6. That's Victarion. So he will always charge maximum range. And he gives the unit he's with critical blow. And critical blow means every time you hit, you do a bonus hit. So if you were to run up and do 8 hits, or 4 hits, it would actually be 8 hits. Victarion is way, way not subtle. The Victarion cards are all about, I don't know if you ever saw the show or read the book, but the littlest bear was Lady Mormont, and she was like 12, but she was the one that basically shamed the Northmen into fighting. And she can either be I think she can be a commander, but I know she can definitely be what's called an NCU, which is a non-combat unit. And during the game, when it's your turn, you can, it's alternating turns. So you choose a unit, you activate it, you move it, you do your thing, right? Well, that includes non-combat units, which you can put on this board, which assumably you would have somewhere near the table, right? It keeps track of how long the game's going to go. But if you put your non-combat unit on, say, the horse, then one friendly unit can make a free maneuver or retreat action. Because, this represents the politics of Games of Thrones. The people in the court and the things they're doing to try and, like this one here with the letter. If you put your non-combat unit on that one, you get 2 tactical cards that you can add to your hand. And you can put a condition token on an enemy unit, which means you can make an enemy unit panicked. Like the coin one, you can restore 3 lost figures to a unit, remove a condition from a unit, and that represents the fact that you got a lot of money and you're just buying reinforcements. So, yeah. So you have all of these things, but then some commanders will start the game with a token on them. And when you put them on a thing, you can burn the token and it'll do something totally different. Those are the more complicated Greyjoy guys that are like, instead of doing what that board says, they do something really crazy,
Now,
the starter box, like I said, I don't know what they would be in Finnish money, but in US dollars, they're around $80 or so. And basically, everyone who wants to game with you needs their own starter box. So if you got a couple friends and you can talk them into saving up for it, then you buy Stark and let somebody buy something and someone else buy something else. And then you're done, really. You're ready to go. It's kind of like the BattleTech big box, the main box for BattleTech. If you buy that box set, you are done. Of course, no, you're going to end up buying 100 mechs, but you don't got to. There's plenty of mechs in that box to form 2 balanced lances to fight it out with. Just, But yes, Jeff, Lady Mormont, I believe, is 12. And she is the niece of that asshole that was running around with Daenerys, Sir Jorel Mormont. I think his name was Jorel. And he had been banished from Westeros for selling his own people into slavery so that he could afford fancy gifts for the woman he loved. I have not seen it. It may be available. And if it is, that would be right there done. There's also a skirmish game that uses these figures, but you don't need the movement trays because you're actually playing the game with like 10 total figures. And supposedly they're coming out with a Robert's Rebellion set of expansions so that if you want to play through Robert's Rebellion, you can do so. So you could play Rhaegar Targaryen and stuff like that, a Targaryen army. As it is now, you can play a Targaryen army, but of course it's Daenerys and her dragons and a shit ton of people from the east. Pit fighters and Unsullied and stuff like that. Which, I mean, if that's what you're into, knock yourself out.
Where's Bear? And I bet you he's out celebrating right now. Tudro is chopping his own you know what off today.
Trudeau,
Trudeau,
no,
the
in Canada, the Canadian
Prime Minister.
premier.
oh, he's quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's quitting. He just said he's done.
thing is, the way he did it though is more of a delaying tactic than anything because they were just going to vote him out.
Yeah, it says here, it has become clear I cannot be the best option in the next election. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Like, yeah, you already pissed everyone off. Mobile Suit Gundam. I've never really been into Mobile Suit Gundam, Satya. I know a lot of people love it, and I'm not hating on them.
I'm
Love
a
it.
fan.
Love what you want to love, but
I like an old school version though, not the newer stuff.
I can't wrap my brain around a gigantic mech flying around all super fast through space, fighting, with swords and shit like that. It's too Japanese for me, I guess.
I think you'd much rather watch Full Metal Panic.
Whereas BattleTech, a bunch of lumbering mechs kind of lumbering across the battlefield.
Especially whenever they show the older mechs, which are a lot like that.
Well, I mean, my favorite mech TV show, which you should watch if you can find it, is Dougram, Fang of the Sun. That's a good one.
Like I showed you what a Savage looks like. Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, it's an old anime, but it's very good.
Yeah.
Dougram, Fang of the Sun. Plus, it's where most of, like, half of the Bautech figures actually come from Dougram, not Robotech.
Yeah.
Like Archers and Griffins and all your 55 tonners. Those are Dougram mechs. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just my brain. I have some weird thoughts about stuff. Like, I can totally love a sci-fi game, but I will always have problem with artificial gravity. I cannot.
What's your problem with
I can't believe in it.
Why not?
Because it's not possible.
It may not be possible, but
it can't be possible because gravity is the effect of mass on space-time, right? In order to randomly generate 1 G of gravity, you would have to generate 1 G's worth of mass on space-time, which would basically just crush you. Everything would just be dead. Plus, you ain't got enough power to do that. So, no. How you do artificial gravity is like this shit. You travel towards your target at 1 G, and then when you get to the midway point, you flip and decelerate at 1 G. And it tricks your body into thinking there's 1 G of gravity.
Okay, so you don't believe in the Star Wars, Star Trek gravitational plating theory. And you're more into the 1 G plus travel
the
where
Expanse.
actually your decks in that ship that you're to your right would be actually not vertical, but they would be horizontal to the
They
base.
are.
Right.
Every line is
Right.
a
That's
deck.
what I'm saying. Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand your position on that. And that's
Well,
one of the,
one, it's correct scientifically, and two, it goes along with the fact that I started playing sci-fi with Star Frontiers, and in
Okay.
Star Frontiers there is no artificial gravity.
okay. Well, I'm with you to a point, but I still think the capacity for human ingenuity is there's always a possibility it could happen.
Maybe
You never know.
anti-gravity could happen.
They might find that substance or combination of substances that you place an electrical charge to that would cause a gravitational pull.
Yep, they might.
How about instead of anti-gravity, you just have mag boots? So you just magnetize yourself to the ground.
Well, all the space suits that are in that ship there have magnetized boots.
Okay.
Because it is very, and this is something a lot of people don't think about for whatever reason in sci-fi. But if this ship thinks that it's getting ready to get into a hostile situation, the first thing it does is depressurize the ship.
Oh
All
yeah.
the crew get into spacesuits.
Yep.
Then they depressurize the ship, and everyone gets into their grav couches so that the ship can perform higher G maneuvers without turning the crew into jelly. You know what I mean? Got to separate your science from your fiction. I know. But my favorite other sci-fi game besides Coriolis, which is Traveler 2300, no artificial gravity in that either. It's either spin or acceleration. That's just how gravity happens, you know? And spin technology, like a starship with a spinning whatever, that can be kind of a pain in the ass, because if the spinning component isn't big enough, the gravity will be different between your feet and your head. So you'll feel sick for a while until your body gets used to, you know,
the gravity differences.
Well, yeah. I mean, dependent on the size of it. I mean, there was I've read that there's an article about that somewhere, and I can't remember the distance, but there is a certain distance you have to be away from the center where it rotates at to achieve that. And it's again, it's math. It's all in the math, you know.
Right. So, well, like Gabriel told the students in the movie Prophecy, study your math. It's the key to the universe. Right. But you are right. There could be some kind of element that when, you know, you could line like a ship's floor with it, like a grid. And then when you run electricity through it, it generates some kind of gravitational pull. Yeah. Yeah. And my Martian galleon up there flies through the air because if you prepare the liftwood correctly, it counters gravity. So the hull of the ship can lift it up. But you still need the wind power to make it go.
Oh.
You see what I mean? You can do anything.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, that's why it's sci-fi. And if it's 1,000 years in the future, who knows where we get it? I mean, it might not be anti-gravity. It might be a gravitational push, meaning that instead of doing it the opposite, where it sucks us down to it, we might have to have something that's from above us pushing down, you know.
Or maybe it's just EZO, you know. EZO does everything.
Well, I mean, everything you're talking about is a very optimistic view of things.
Well, I have a theory, and people, I have a crackpot theory about the U.S. government and some things that they've done, but explore, especially about space exploration. So,
Yeah.
and it's you know, I guess I'll just keep it to myself for a while.
Okay. You want to talk about another weird thing, and this is something Shauner and I used to go off about. He versus me. I don't believe in aliens at all.
Huh.
Me neither.
Not even the possibility of them.
Yeah, I don't
So
either.
when he would be talking about Traveler, there would always be the conceit that you would have all these aliens all over the place. But when I ran Traveler, there were no aliens anywhere. Everywhere was just humans.
My problem with that is with how many billions of stars out there and trillions of planets.
Yep.
What are the odds that there is not another alien life? Now, I don't say it isn't intelligent. I'm just saying alien life. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, very minuscule, especially intelligent alien life. But there is this issue that there has to be certain conditions fulfilled, and the only planet we know that fulfills those conditions is Earth.
Well, so far, I mean, what if we send a space probe to Titan, one of the moons of Jupiter, and we find out there's multi-cell organisms living underneath the sea that are gobbling other, multi-cell organisms and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that movie. It was good.
Yeah.
The Andromeda, whatever.
The Andromeda Effect.
Yeah, it was really good how they landed and then they never got off. But
yeah,
and it turned out that underneath the ice shell, there were these massive tentacled phosphorescent Cthulhu monsters.
Right. Well,
they just had tentacles, but whatever,
That's sort of like reading the other day. I was reading an article by a theoretical evolutionist, and he says once the humans leave Earth, it'll be the octopuses that'll take over.
I was reading some scientists saying that they didn't even believe octopuses were from Earth.
That could be true,
because of how different they are. Like, I didn't know this, but apparently they have a copper-based blood system or some shit like that. And there's another animal too, like horseshoe crabs. Their blood operates completely different than 99% of the animals on the planet, even though they've been around longer than 99% of animals on the planet. But we got Mobius up here, hopefully not freezing to death up in.
I just confirmed that octopuses are on a copper-based blood system. So
they are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so that's strange.
Well,
but they're not the only thing that's on a copper-based blood system. I've been watching a lot of Casual Geographic and shit like that, and dude talks about like all kinds of stuff. One problem most octopi have is their lifespan is incredibly short.
It says their copper-based blood systems are primarily found in mollusks and arthropods.
Huh. And the problem with the copper-based system is it's not as efficient as iron at carrying oxygen.
Examples include crabs, lobsters, and horseshoe crab.
Yep, I know horseshoe crabs because we got those down here. And you are not allowed to mess around with them because people are assholes. Like used to, I could drive to the coast from where I am, like Melbourne, and you could pull off the side of the road and there would be horseshoe crabs everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But too many tourists come down and effed around with them and killed them and whatever. So now they're kind of rare.
Horseshoe crab for some type of medical. I don't remember what it is. They use them for some type of medical
kind of cancer. Some
Yeah.
kind of cancer. It's like horseshoe crab blood. There's like a thing in their blood that's really good versus something or other, but those ones they actually farm raise, the horseshoe crabs, and take a little blood at a time. Of course they're copper based. Why do you think they have to cook them alive to eat them? Well, lobsters I didn't know were copper based. I did know for a fact horseshoe crabs are, though. And horseshoe crabs are probably one of the oldest creatures still existing on this planet. Like, they predate lobsters and crabs and everything else. Them bastards were probably around before the first thing ever decided. Is like, if you believe in creation, well, that was one of the first things God made. He was sitting there and he's like, let's make some shit. Horseshoe crab. It's like, damn, okay. There he is. They're really cool though. Like, and the thing is, if you're gentle, you can pick them up and look at them, and their little legs will
done
do
that.
whatever. And
I
then you
picked up horseshoe crabs.
put them back down and they'll just scoot off down through the water, man. And you know what? Learning all of this has made me a lot less of a Star Trek hater, because I used to kind of be like, how can Spock have copper-based blood? That don't even make sense. Vulcans, how could they have copper-based blood? And then I learned that there's so many animals on Earth that have copper-based blood. I was like, okay, then. Never mind. I'm sold. Copper-based blood is a thing. Who knew? But I'm not even a huge fan of lobster, to be honest, or even crab meat. I mean, shrimp, if it's wrapped in bacon or something, sure.
Ooh, shrimp. I like shrimp.
But
some good shrimp is nice.
Yeah, my mom makes fried cod, and that's like, to me, that's the height of seafood. The battered and fried codfish. That is just so good.
Well, listen to this. Sea cucumbers have a blood-based system on vanadium. How about that? That's
on
yellow.
what?
On vanadium. Wow.
It's yellow.
Aren't they the animals that like shoot their intestines out if you mess with them?
I don't know.
Possibly.
How can a copper-based species? I think probably like how they used to have problems with blood types until like the 40s. So like if Spock's dad impregnated Spock's mom, they would probably just give her a shot that would make it where her blood wouldn't kill the baby. Because before like the 40s or 50s, if you married somebody that had the wrong blood type and you had a baby, there's a really good chance that baby would die. That happened to one of my grandmamas. She actually had 11 children, but only 8 survived, because back then in the mountains, people didn't know that, parents with differing blood types could lead to the death of a child.
There was a guy, wasn't that a guy in Australia that had that certain base blood that did that? I don't remember.
I don't know, but I do know that that is a real thing. And now all you got to do is get a shot.
Yep.
They give you a shot and everything's good. So, cool.
I got to see if my football game is going to be on tonight.
Who you watching?
North Dakota State versus Montana State for the FCS football championship.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a challenging game.
Well, I'm going to see if I got
to read my Bible and go to sleep. Good night, everyone. Well, good night to you. And have a wonderful sleep and a wonderful day tomorrow. But, yeah. I always pull for the blueberries, but they don't generally do very good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
Nope.
Yeah,
Who are
you
the
do.
blueberries?
Yeah. Leth knows who the blueberries are.
I have no clue. What is that a reference to something? I'm not sure.
It is a reference to University of Kentucky.
Oh,
Because
well,
when they're all out there in their blue freaking jerseys, they look like a bunch of blueberries running around.
okay.
What, you don't like UK?
I'm not really a sports fan.
Me neither.
My dad is though. He loves it.
Yep, I'm not really a sports fan, but I still
He
keep up
really
on
didn't like the last
UK.
coach there, Calipari. He hated that one.
Yep. I still keep up on whatever University of Kentucky's up to, which is generally losing in football.
Football and basketball right now.
Right now, they're not even doing good in basketball, which is weird because usually they're really good at basketball.
Yeah, used to, but Calipari made sure that's a thing.
So, and then, yeah.
The one thing I know is that I made some people angry in high school over fantasy basketball one time.
I can't imagine you making anybody angry.
There was a group that was wanting to make their dream UK team out of like all the pro players, and I kind of scalped some of the guys they wanted.
I can't even imagine why anybody would even do that. That is lame, and I play D&D. But I would have made.
It's not my fault. How many basketball players do you think I know?
Yeah, even I would have been like, "What's wrong with you guys? That's lame as shit." That is like, you want to talk about female repellent? There it is. Like, no woman wants to be around you guys. You're pretending this bullshit. Get out of here.
Jesus criminy. Sitting there going through my what do you call this thing here? I'm on ESPN Plus, and online they say that I can get it. On ESPN Plus it says I can't get it. What the hell? It's pissing me off. I don't want to go to a bar tonight to watch a game.
I did make a terrible choice in one of my fantasy basketball on my fantasy basketball team. I took a guy named Yao Ming.
Yao Ming? Oh,
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yes, I know. He kept on getting injured because of how tall he is. I thought, oh, he's gonna be good. All he has to do to dunk is just throw it in there. Nope, he keeps getting injured and making no points. I'm happy.
Yeah. Also, the Chinese government stole 90% of his paycheck too.
It can't be that much with how bad he plays basketball.
He had a good contract, but it just the Chinese government just took so much of it that
So the Chinese government was basically fleecing our basketball team.
I'm not a fan of the Chinese anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, he definitely wasn't probably worth the amount that he was being paid to play basketball.
Some of those guys are just for show.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think I should do with the my paladin? Have a conclave or something, and
Inquisition.
What'd you say?
Inquisition.
Inquisition.
Yep. Try to get him to repent, decursify him, and if he fails, definitely take away his paladin status, turn him into a level 0 fighter, and he's excommunicated.
Excommunicado.
Yep.
Oh well.
Should be keeping up with his, his tenets of his religion. And possibly not using a cursed sword.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for picking up a weapon and not being very careful about it.
Always get it checked first. You don't want, what should we call it? Curse aids? I don't know. Don't want sword herpes. Did James go somewhere?
No, he's sitting there.
Oh, he's muted. Or his audio's out.
His audio's out. We can't hear you. Oh,
Yeah,
you
you
can
can.
we can say anything we want about him now.
We could have stolen the show here, Vic.
Yeah,
You can
that's
hear
right.
me.
Now we can.
But
Also, part of the Inquisition, make them play fantasy golf. Make it as boring as possible to them.
calm down.
No, I think I'm just gonna have him show up in town and have to go to the cathedral or the temple and report into the high priests, and they're gonna give him an ass chewing and tell him that he's lost favor with the church and he's excommunicated, and
Until he proves himself worthy again.
yeah, I think they might have to say to him that he needs to go see the monks in a certain place in the mountains and atone for his sins and something of that nature,
Yeah. I mean, depending on how the player takes it, that's actually like a good
Hook or story
hook
for him.
for a whole storyline.
Well, he is cavorting right now with, let's see here, a couple thieves, a magic user, and a druid in the group, amongst others.
That's the problem is a paladin can only be in a group with non-believers one time for a specific purpose, at which point they need to head on down the road.
Yep.
So this, that's a big problem with paladins. If you're going to have a paladin in your group, is pretty much everyone else in the group has to agree to be lawful good.
Well, that's why I basically don't like playing, have him playing in my group. Paladins are a pain in the ass. Cavalier, a paladin, Jesus criminy.
Well, Cavaliers start off chaotic neutral, and then they can actually change alignment through play. So you can end up with an evil Cavalier.
Sure.
But they always start off like lawful neutral or lawful good.
I think it's just good, if I remember right. The Cavalier.
I want to be a lawful neutral assassin.
Hey, James Bond. Nice to meet you.
Pretty much.
I was thinking Thane Krios.
I've always said that a lawful neutral assassin's allowed. So
in my campaign, I have two. And I don't know if it was because I was heavily influenced from what's the name of that movie? Where you got all the assassins and they're bald and they work for the church.
I don't know.
And they go around assassinating people. And it's like, okay, they were trained from the time they were young children to be assassins for the church.
I made an order like that of female nuns for my game. They haven't ran into them lately. They're called the Sisters of Mercy. Yeah, Mercy, right? They will mercifully kill you. They get contracts and since they work with the poor, they get all this information for next to nothing. And then when they find you, they you don't expect it from some little old nun that's walking around. Next thing you know, you're dead in the street or wherever. So
Unknown Frequencies. I think that's a Sisters of Mercy album.
yeah. I'll let my computer search for it. It's been a
Hitman.
while since I played them.
Hitman was the video game / movie series.
Oh, Hitman, yeah. I need to play that sometime.
And in the Hitman movie, there were assassin nuns that showed up too. So, you know. But I mean, assassins is something that a lot of people have debated about. Like, why should they be? And it's like, okay, killing someone for money is evil, but killing somebody for a cause, while not necessarily good, might not also be evil. So if you made an assassin who did not take money for killing people, but did it because they were part of some kind of order, then would they have to be evil? Yes, Hitman mucked up. You got it. Would they necessarily have to be evil? Specifically, chaotic evil. I mean, if they're, like I said, if they're just a guy like the guy from No Country for Old Men that just rolls around killing people, chaotic evil, obviously, right? But if they're a guy like Hitman, then that's lawful neutral. You know?
If I know a way to transfer this file to you, James, I'd send this one to you. I call them the Sisters of what are they? The Sisters of the Merciful Sisters of Piety. And yeah, they are assassins.
Yeah, in 40K they have something like that. It's like the Silent Sisters. Except their thing is they're all what are called blanks. So they not only do they not show up in the warp, but they're actively like a drain on the warp. So demons that get near them start not being able to manifest or anything. I will send it to you.
Okay, I'll send this on to you. It's a short read. It's only 2 pages, but
I am. But our next game is, even though we've put it off so much because people have been sick in the holidays, going to be the One Ring. The player characters are finally going to deal with the damn trolls that they've been trying to ambush forever.
Yeah, talking about games, mine's been canceled again.
Well, I mean, this is a weird year, a part of year 4 gaming.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on. I mean, you go straight from Christmas to New Year's Eve, and then shortly after New Year's Eve, you're going into like, I mean, not counting like Valentine's Day and shit. You're going straight into like Easter and all of that. And it just gets to be like just a lot going on.
Yeah.
And then add to that the fact that half of my players have turned into nerdlings. little plague bears running around. Even I got
Yeah.
sick for a couple days. I'm still like congested, like in my head, but my poor wife is still fighting it out. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And unfortunately for her, she had to freaking she had to work today. Poor thing. RPG Dad, how are you, sir? How are you, sir? So, Vic, were you in
Yes, sir.
chat last night when Condor joined?
No, I was not. I was last night. I was enthralled by the. I was enthralled by the Masters of the Air. I think it was on Apple TV. We were watching, and then we watched the Minnesota Vikings totally stink it up versus the Detroit Lions.
Oh, that's
So,
rough, man. When your team's getting clowned on by the Lions, I don't know.
yeah, it just, you know what? They had 4 chances there to kick field goals and make it. They could have been ahead in the game and demoralized the Lions just a little bit, but they blew it. I mean, they got that interception right there at the 5-yard line. They couldn't punch it in, not once. They couldn't punch it in, not once. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, not a fake play in the goddamn playbook or anything, just a trick
So it
play.
sounds like the Vikings got no defense or no offense. I mean,
well, he was throwing the ball and he overthrew Jefferson 3 times and he was in the end zone. You know, Jefferson was in the end zone, so
Jeff thinks Condor jumped in and was like actually kind of cool. He's like, no, I'm not talking about you. No, I don't hate you. Peace. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, you know, it might have just been because the 0070 boy was like a spam account. And I was like, that's Condor. And he heard about it. And
no, Condor's got a bug up his butt always. Just, you know.
Hey, if he's going to be cool to me, I'll be cool to him. That's the way I run life. I'll be cool to anyone if they're cool to me, man.
All right, it's in your email.
Life's too short.
Yeah, I saw it, but I'll read it when I get done with this in about 30 minutes.
You know, James, life's too short to have grudges.
I agree, man. You know, it's too short to carry on. Just friggin', you know, just let it slide. You'll be better off for it. You'll be healthier. You'll be freaking in a better mental place, definitely. And, you know, love your haters. They make you famous. But I love that meme I posted that RPG Pundit stole. It had the guy and a female adventurer. And the guy adventurer is like, I'm going to bring whatever he said. And the female adventurer is like, I'm going to bring the 10-foot pole. And then the next scene, you see this really tall dude. And he like says hello in Polish. Sorry, okay. You guys didn't think that was funny. I thought it was funny. 10-foot pole.
Decently funny.
Yeah, it is a dad joke. I get it. But still. Double easy or something like that. He's like, yep, the 10-foot pole. I still desperately must at some point run Baptism of Fire.
Yeah, I want to play in the game of Baptism of Fire.
Well, if I ever decide to run online, you will be the first person invited. we'll go ahead and set you up with the character we kind of role played with anyway. You'll be a minor knight. And you'll be able to explore the world in the Redlands and deal with bandits and Slavic monsters. He should have said Curva. Okay. Yeah, he said like a bunch of different things, but I appreciate the fact that you know how to say hello in Polish or whatever. That's because Polish is like even for a Slavic language, Polish is extra weird.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you can speak Russian and kind of get your point across to a Serb or, whatever. But Poles, forget about it. It's like, it's a Slavic language, but it's so different. I didn't know there was an expansion coming out for it. I mean,
What?
RPG Pundit didn't tell me.
Oh, for okay.
Baptism of Fire. Did he finally get up off his ass and do a expansion for the Kievan Rus part? Curva may be a swear word. I don't know. In Russian, the most common swear word is either suka or blin. Yeah, they hate consonants except for the letter Z. They love the letter Z. They'll put the letter Z everywhere. It's just like CHZ, ZLZ. It's like, what even is this? How do you people even communicate with each other? Right? But I've been riding Pundit's ass about doing an expansion for the Kievan Rus part.
Friend of yours, Nerdy?
What?
Oh, I was asking Nerdy if the Florida man high on drugs that killed his imaginary friend and turns himself in was a friend of his.
Nerdy Ogre's in Texas.
Doesn't matter. It's just people are just weird. I got a buddy who just moved out of Texas up to Ohio, and I'm like, what kind of drugs are you on?
Man, I'll tell you what, if Pundit makes an expansion that covers the Kievan Rus part, which would be the House of Rourke in 988, so Vladimir the Great and all that, I would buy 2 of them. You know what I mean? And I've told him that. I would buy 2 of them. He wouldn't even need to make different classes or anything. I mean, it would basically be very similar, except in, Russia. Because at that time, regardless of what people want to think nowadays, Kiev was the capital of the Russian Empire, the Rus. Because Kiev and Ukraine, well, Kiev has existed, but Ukraine never has. It's an imagination that people invented until the fall of the Soviet Union when it became a state. But originally it was an oblast of the Russian Empire. And an oblast in Russian is basically a state, except Russian oblasts have a lot more self-governance than U.S. states. Like, it's crazy. The Russians recently raised 600,000 men for their army. And how they did it is by offering the soldiers massive payouts. Like, basically, the Russian soldiers are getting paid as much as U.S. soldiers, which is a tremendous amount of money for a Russian. And the different oblasts within Russia are competing with each other. So, like, Moscow will pay you more money if you join in Moscow as opposed to St. Petersburg. You know what I mean? Like, all the different places are competing to see who can get the most men. And like I said the other night, Russian soldiers, in addition to patches of the Holy Saints, have started wearing purity seals like from 40K. It's like those guys are also, if you're in the Russian army and you sign a contract, if you take out an enemy squad, tank, whatever, you get bonuses depending on the thing you took out. It's like 5,000 ruble bonus if you take out an enemy tank, but it's 8,000 if the enemy tank is NATO design tank. So you get paid more for taking out a Leopard than you do a T-72. And that's why the war is over, because the Russians now have more men under arms than the entire Ukrainian male population. And the Ukrainians have already lost 1 million soldiers. And the Russians can keep this up indefinitely. You know. So it's sad, really. I will say this, it's sad, not to bring everyone down, but if you go on Instagram where the Ukrainian soldiers are, it's sad that all they talk about is how they get attacked by artillery nonstop. They can't move because as soon as they move, they get attacked. They, you know, high command is not giving them supplies. Yeah, it's performance rated pay. Depending on where you join, you get your bonus, which is enough. If you survive the contract, which is until the war ends, they will give you enough money to buy a house. And also, while you're under contract, your immediate family can use military hospitals and all of that. It basically, the Russians just woke up one day and said, we are going to pay our soldiers a shit ton of money and send them to Ukraine. And like one thing they do is this one recruiter was telling guys in St. Petersburg, they got like a 5,000 ruble bonus. He was telling them to take their bonuses and buy, and he given them a list of extra gear. So these dudes are like dropping their standard AKs and picking up optics and, you know, knee pads and elbow pads and, you know, plate carriers and like all the shit they're not normally issued. They were picking up, and the guy was telling them, hey, if you die, then none of this money matters. So spend your bonus to make sure you don't die, right? So they're all buying body armor and shit. It's like nuts, man. No, we went over to Iraq and did all that stupid shit, and I got like 4 medals for it and a nice little wreath around my rifle. But, you know, and the rumor I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but the rumor I heard is that the king of Saudi Arabia wanted to pay every American soldier $20,000, but Bush Sr. said no. Man, 20 extra grand in my pocket in like 92. Shit. I could have maybe paid off that damn car I bought. But anyway, probably not, though. The interest rate was so high. But you guys know what I mean. Or that slutty redhead I married would have spent it all while I was out in the field. But anyway, it'd have been nice.
I told her about it. I wouldn't have told her about it.
Yeah, I was really stupid. Like, we had a shared bank account and everything.
Oh,
so every time I'd be out in the field or doing something, she would be like taking her mom or her friends or whomever out to lunch every day. Your king sucked, bro. I agree, Muktuk. I agree. And no, we did not get any bonuses for taking out enemy tanks, units, artillery, nothing. If we had, man, I would be rich because my unit, 3-7 infantry, we took out so much shit. We took out the whole damn Hammurabi division of the Republican Guards. We ate them up. I mean, so if it was like an extra, say, $100 per enemy tank you took out, I mean, I'd have made $5,000 right there. But, you know, whatever. So anyway, if you look it up, that's what the Russians have done. They've basically just said, F it, we're going to pay our soldiers a shit ton of money to go fight and give them bonuses for you know, taking out enemy vehicles and shit like that. Like every time they take an enemy position, they get a bonus. And what you end up with is a bunch of highly motivated Ruskies, you know, actually racing each other to take shit because they all want the money. I mean, it's brilliant, really. It's absolutely brilliant, you know? But whatever. Oh, yeah, we didn't get anything, though. We didn't get anything. Now, Bush did because he was highly invested into Halliburton. So him and Dick Cheney made, I don't know, millions, maybe even billions off of that war. But all of the guys who are on the ground fighting, yeah, we got a combat patch and a wreath around our rifle, which is kind of cool because then you can, you know, everywhere you go in your dress uniform or whatever, people see the rifle with the wreath, they know combat experience. And I had the 24th Infantry Division on both shoulders. So, you know, people knew. People knew. This guy's seen some shit. Wouldn't recommend it. But, yeah. So basically, we got paid in ribbons. Like that, I don't know where I put it, but that Desert Storm hat I have that has all those ribbons across it, they pretty much just gave everyone those ribbons. So,
Dime a dozen.
huh?
A dime a dozen.
Dime a dozen.
Yep. So if I were in my dress uniform in formation and there was like a new soldier to the unit who had recently joined, yeah, I looked like a badass because I had like 3 rows of ribbons, but they didn't mean anything. It was like a good conduct ribbon, you know, all of those, a couple of ARCOMs, you know, whatever. Your presidential citation ribbon and all that. Half of them really didn't matter. I had some that did matter, though. My ARCOMs mattered because they're not easy to get, ARCOMs. And I had a couple of those. But AAMs, you pretty much, as long as you're breathing and not causing trouble, you'll get an AAM eventually, which is an Army Achievement Medal. But an ARCOM is an Army Commendation. And you got to do something pretty hardcore to get an ARCOM. It's one step below Bronze Star, which, you know, I think I know a couple of guys who got Bronze Stars, but not me. If they got the idea from Wagner, I think either they got the idea from Wagner or Battlefield 4. I'm not entirely sure, Muktuk. Because the way the bonuses work, it's an awful lot like video games. It's like, hey, you killed a tank, you get bonus points. Right? And then these Russian units are using their bonus points to buy better food, better equipment, better whatever. So it's like a big circle. You know, like if they don't like the Russian MREs, but they took out an enemy tank, then they can use that bonus to import, you know, some hot food or something, you know, and their artillery. I was watching a thing on the Russian artillery. They are firing their artillery into the Ukrainian lines in shifts. So the artillery crews are like, you got some that work during the day and some that work during the night, and they fire nonstop. Because the thing is, we gave away all of our 155 rounds to Ukraine, so now we barely got any. Russia makes thousands of artillery rounds a day. They have so much artillery that it's like they can just shoot it at trees.
We've been buying them from everybody and anybody we sold them to before, and we're buying them from South Korea, I heard.
Yeah.
The Ukrainians.
Yeah, because we ain't got any, and because we're not in a wartime footing, we can't make them fast enough. Landlords suck. I agree, kind of. I wouldn't know. I don't have a landlord, and I've never been a landlord.
Try being
But-
a landlord. It's not fun.
I have a landlord now, and my guy is great. He's a former truck driver, and he's another former truck driver. So it's just like,
So you and him are peas in a pod.
yeah, he's like, what'd you fix this month? No questions asked. If I fix something, I just tell him, and he just goes, okay, I'll credit you. Thanks. Goodbye.
Well, Gamer Jane,
Nice.
at least you're not in the UK, bro. I was watching a Salty Cracker video where like these people in the UK are fleeing the country. Like literally, they're like, nope, we're done. We're leaving. I guess if you were born in the UK, you can move to Canada like for free or something. Like it's not a big deal because it's all part of the Commonwealth or something. So, yeah, a lot of British people are just like, we're out. Going to Australia, South Africa. Well, not South Africa anymore. Maybe they need to go back to Rhodesia. I'm laughing because Zimbabwe. Let's make Zimbabwe Rhodesia again.
Yeah, that's a lovely thought, James.
Don't you use the money I can? Oh, yeah. If you got a bad landlord, it's just a bad place to be, bro. Canadians, we don't want them.
Actually, I wouldn't
two-way
care
street,
if we merged
Terrible.
with Canada.
Terrible tenants can be also a thing. People don't understand that, but
Yeah.
being a landlord where you're told, oh, you can't evict this person until you get a court order to make them leave.
Right.
And even then,
Oh, yeah.
well, good luck trying to get them out anyway. No cop will do it.
Yeah, that's the problem now is that you got these squatters and everybody else, and that's one of the reasons why I'd never be a quote unquote landlord, but I would rent something like, oh, you want a camping space? Here's a camping space on my property. Oh yeah, you're going to sign this contract right here, and it's non-renewable. It's going to be non-renewable at the top of it.
I think the biggest problem is that, and we've talked about this before, even though it's politics, but we were talking kind of politics anyway. BlackRock and companies like that have bought up so many single family homes that it's really screwing the market.
James, it's not going to matter in a year or so. Look at the commercial real estate market right now. They are writing off so much money in loans right now. It's not even funny. And the next thing you know, it's going to slip into their real estate things because they're going to be looking for money. People are going to be like, oh, we want our money back out of you, BlackRock. You're going to have to sell some assets. And they're going to turn around and sell that stuff. I don't care what anybody says. And then you got state legislatures that are starting to look at that going, no, this needs to go. Plus,
yeah, I forget which legislator it was that said they need to put like a cap on how many single family homes a big investment firm can actually own.
Yeah.
Like cap that shit out because these guys will make a whole subdivision.
Oh yeah, I read about that down in Florida. They bought a whole townhouse division, except for like 3 houses in it.
Yep.
And then those 3 people were forced to move out because they made the association fee so damn high that they had no choice, you know.
Yeah, that's what they do. They will build a whole subdivision just because they're going to end up selling or renting all those houses to New Yorkers that sell off their property and come to Florida. Because, I mean, if you own a house in Long Island and you sell it, you've got $1 million plus.
Oh, yeah.
Dollars. Easy. You know? Because that's how much a house in Long Island, even a little house, 900 square feet, that's going to set you back a cool $1 million.
I know, but here's the thing, though, about it is that HOA associations, and I've seen this in a couple of them, some of these don't have the rule in there that says you must actually be living on a property inside the association to be the president or vice president. They just go, oh, no, we're going to change the rules. The rules are different, and they can have that outside management company and everything else. And I think that's what really makes it a bad to be in an association anymore.
Yeah.
I just, if you're not living there, I don't think you should be able to vote in it. I don't think you should be able to do anything about it. It's flat out, you are persona non grata,
And sadly, homie, that is exactly what happened when we moved in here years ago. There was an HOA, but then the people in charge of the HOA, I guess, did a vote or whatever the hell they did to turn all the HOA stuff over to a company that does nothing but HOA stuff.
And they rip you off. Those HOA management companies are a total ripoff. If you go look at their books, I mean, they don't even let out contracts. I know of one up here in Minnesota. The brother of I don't know how the relationship works, but he runs an insurance company. Well, guess what? His insurance company gets all the HOA business. Everything from that HOA company goes right to him. And he writes out all the policies on all the roofs and all the other bullshit,
Yep.
And it costs them a bloody fortune because they watch your HOA's fees go from $150, $200 to $500 now,
Right.
And they claim it's because of claims, and it's like, what claims? You guys ain't putting any claims in on these brand new townhouses in 15 years, So
yeah, they don't. I mean, the only thing our HOA actually does that I can tell is keep the common area mowed.
Yeah, and what do you guys pay for it?
Well, not very much at all, but still, it's like. And now they've got people that ride around and look at everybody's houses.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Once a week, the car comes by, and it's like, who the F are you? I'm thinking.
Well, there's rewards sometimes. There's rewards for these management companies that they reward these guys that drive around. That's how they get paid. They go, oh, you find a violation, we'll give you X% of that violation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they tried to get my wife and I for our driveway, saying it was dirty.
Oh,
so
God.
we hired a company to clean it, and they came back and they're like, we gave you the warning that your driveway was dirty, and we gave them the receipt showing that we had hired somebody and they had cleaned it.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped it after that, though.
Yeah, well, see,
because it's like, what do you want? I mean, we paid money.
Those are busybodies, and you can't have a certain color flower inside in front of your house. You can't have your Christmas decorations up past a certain day. You can't have a lit pumpkin. You can't have an actual pumpkin on your thing. It has to be a fake one for Halloween. You're not allowed to put an Easter bunny, welcome family for Easter bunny, Easter things on your front lawn. It's nonsense. They want you to be little socialist communists and have these perfect little cookie cutter houses.
Talking about that, there was an HOA that actually tried to get an old man for putting an American flag up.
Yeah, that's illegal now.
Yep.
Well, they would have a problem with my house if I were to have Christmas decorations out. Because if they tried to pull that kind of shit, I wouldn't even say anything. I'd let them push it. And then when it really got down to it, I would just point out that I'm Russian Orthodox.
Yeah.
And our Christmas is January 7th. So I'd be like, gonna go ahead and discriminate against my religion, are we?
Well, I
Okay.
love the HOA stories. The HOA stories where like, oh, you can put a bat box in your backyard because they're a federally protected species. As soon as the bats start landing in there, guess what? You can't take the bat box down anymore.
Right.
That's like, oh, in like Florida, I found a
Yeah,
lot.
Hungar told me about that.
Yeah, and I found a law down in Florida. As long as you improve, and it's a better thing for your roof. You know, instead of like having clay tiles on your roof, you can put steel tiles up there. The HOA can't say shit to you because it lasts longer and it's more environmentally friendly. So
Yeah, our HOA was a little iffy with us over a couple things, but overall, they've been pretty good. They've been pretty much not in our hair about anything.
I am 100% against HOAs. I hate them with a passion.
I'd never join one. I refuse
Understandable.
to live in a house.
If somebody were to come up to me and say, oh, you want to join an HOA, I say, sure, let me see the paperwork. I rip it up, hand it back to them, and say, there you go. Have a good day. No way. I've been in one HOA, and my mom's been a whole bunch of them, but I've been in one HOA, and I became president. I had it one day with a BS, and I said, screw it. I went around to everybody. I said, I'm running for HOA president. And next election, boom, I was the HOA president just instantly. And I made some swift changes really fast. And as far as I know, last time I saw a listing for that building that I was living in, they had kept all the changes I made. So
look at you, positively changing the world for the better.
Well, they had washing machines that were $2 a load back in the 90s.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it was $2. And it was like $1.50 to dry the stuff, and it was on our electricity, our water. And I'm like, why are we spending this kind of money on this? So I did raise the HOA $20, but you know what I mean? I gave everybody free washing machines and dryers, so it sort of washed out. Everybody was happy with it. You know, they're spending a whole lot less money on the washing machines and dryers and stuff. So,
well, that's good.
You had to balance it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I live in a home, so the only thing our HOA gets pissed off about is like if you trash, everything up and everything, but. I mean, I hate them. Don't get me wrong. I despise them, but they leave us alone and I leave them alone. I mean, before the guys who were in charge of the HOA hired a HOA management company, they were talking some mad shit and I let them know I'd beat their asses. So I don't know if that's why they actually hired a management company.
Yeah, but here's the problem. They hire a management company is just a shield for the HOA board. The HOA board will say, oh, I want to do this. Blame the management company. They're the ones that instituted the rule, not us. Bullshit. You guys made the rule. You gave it to the HOA management company, and they enforce it. That's all it is. So.
Yeah, the drama for me was we wanted to repaint the house because it was like some kind of stupid pink color.
Oh, you mean that very light pinkish sort of?
Yeah, that people in Florida for some reason like to paint their house.
Yeah.
And so they refused the first color we sent in. Then they approved the second color we sent in. So we painted our house. And after we painted our house that second color, they lost their freaking minds.
You approved it. Tough shit.
And that's what I told them. But the thing is, the color they approved was purple. So we were living in the purple house. It was kind of awesome. But they were super mad. And, and
they tried to bully, and I was like, that's not going to work, guys. You know, we've got the email where you said this was okay. So, you know, pound sand. If I catch you talking to my wife again, I'll just go ahead and beat your ass. You know, you talk to me from now on. And eventually they said, how about we will pay you to repaint your house? And we're like, okay. And we submitted the first color we had submitted, and they approved it immediately. And then they paid us all the money to repaint the house. So the house got painted twice in like 2 years.
Well, I would have sat on the money for about another 6 months, and I would have said, "Oh, well, the painter's really busy, and we want to select the painter we want."
Oh no, we got to select the painter, buy the paint, and everything. And of course, we bought the most expensive freaking house paint you could.
Of course.
I mean, yeah, we took them to the farm on that, but it was their fault, and they knew it. They knew it. It's like, you approved this, but what happened is one of the little old biddies that's always complaining to the HOA was really mad that we had a purple house, and apparently she had wanted to paint her house some color, and they had said no.
Jealousy.
So she was really mad that we got to paint our house the color we did.
Yeah, jealousy's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah. And because I ended up talking to one of the HOA guys after we had our little kerfluffle, he was cool with me, and he told me, he said, look, man, he said, I like the color of your house, but the HOA is getting calls like 3-4 times a week complaining, and because they're saying your house is whatever, and but what it really was, and I know this from him, is that the woman was jealous because she didn't get to paint her house the color she wanted to. So she was constantly calling and bitching about our house.
Aww.
Basically being a freaking giant Karen, but whatever.
Well, everybody here, I'm sure, in chat, and everybody else is just crying for that lady right now.
So yeah.
I can see Leth is just shedding so many tears.
Well, Leth lives out in the woods.
Nobody to tell me what I can paint and can't paint my house as.
Well, that's why I don't want to live in the HOA when I move down to Florida. I'm going to put a big old fucking sign out the front and say, if you don't like it, fuck off. You know what I mean? Here it is. It's just the way it's going to be. I don't really care. And
speaking of, where did you say you were moving down here?
I want to do Polk County. I've been looking
for.
Oh
yeah, Polk County. That's not too bad.
I've been looking for Polk County real estate now for a while.
That's where Sheriff Grady Judd is.
Yeah, I sort of like him. It makes my heart sing a little bit better when I hear a guy say, if they come on your property and you didn't invite them there, invite them to leave. If they don't leave, you can A, call us, or B, take care of it yourself.
Right?
I'll take B.
If somebody tries to enter your home uninvited, by all means, shoot them out the door.
Well, here's the thing, though, James. We're dealing with a mindset down in Florida that is far better than the anything up here in Minnesota. You know what I mean? I mean, these people up here are just stupid.
When you cross the border into Florida, it literally says, welcome to the free state of Florida.
Well,
it's like
Minnesota, you have to be backed up into your bedroom before you could shoot them.
Right. No, down here we've got the stand your ground law, castle law, constitutional carry. and the Good Samaritan law, which means if I see somebody mugging an old lady,
Yeah.
I can pull heat out and tell that guy to stop. And if he wants to act up, put some rounds in him.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't even got to be a threat to you. It can be a threat to someone else.
Well, I know, and
Be
that's
like,
why, and that's why I read the law down in Florida, and I'm going to post it. You know, if you have your land legally posted, you got some options there too. It's like, hey, my land is posted every 200 feet. That's twice as much as normal, and you should have been able to see those purple fence posts. Every fence post is painted purple. You should know. Stay the fuck off.
Yep, you should. Down here, it's just assumed.
Yeah.
Like if you want to post, you can, but the assumption is everywhere's posted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just don't go anywhere unless you know you're supposed to be there.
Sadly for Kentucky, you have to wait
it'll
till
end up
people
bad
break into
either
your house before you can do anything, really.
Right. I mean,
Wow. Sorry, Leth. That's just bad as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. At least we do get constitutional carry both open and concealed. You don't have
Yep.
to have any permit for that.
yep. Our constitutional carry is weird because it has to be concealed.
Yeah.
So you don't need a permit, but if you're carrying a piece, you got to keep it concealed. You can't just cowboy down the road with it. But okay, you know.
I mean, it's probably better to do that anyway, but, you know, sometimes I like having a full-size handgun, and it's very hard to conceal that,
Well, I know my
in light
pops,
clothing at least.
when he's out in the yard working and stuff, he takes a judge with him in case he runs up on like copperheads or anything.
Well, I
But
told my old lady I'm gonna have a 410 shotgun over under, so that she can, if she's walking out on the yard, she sees something, just shoot the fucking thing. We'll call the Florida DNR later if we need to, you know.
well, I mean, depending on where you live, if you see a snake in the yard and you want to shoot it because you think it's venomous or a threat to your animals or something, I mean, I don't really think there's any thing about that unless you live in city limits and there's a rule about discharging a firearm in city limits.
Yeah.
Some cities have that where it's basically like, unless you're defending yourself or something, you're not allowed to discharge firearm within city limits. But if you're defending yourself, then I mean, go nuts. Still not worth becoming the 51st state. I think if you guys were going to become the 51st state, you wouldn't have a choice. It would just happen. You know, kind of like my marriage.
It just happened.
It just happened. It'd be like, look, I know you have opinions and things, but this is happening. And, you know, the sooner you get used to it, the better for everybody. And that would basically be that. But
hell, we just add in 10 Canadian provinces. So I mean, instead of 52, we'd go up to 62. So what the hell?
yeah, you couldn't just add can you imagine trying to make all of Canada one state? That's crazy. Canada's huge.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a multitude of states.
Yeah, you'd have to have 10 of them.
At least. Yeah. At least. That place is huge. Now, Montreal would be pissed off, but I think Ontario would be cool with it. Saskatchewan would probably be like, sure. Yukon would be like, sure. But you would resist till the bitter end. Yeah, well, that would suck, Muck Duck. I'd miss your witty conversation. I mean, I'm too old to fight, but you know.
I don't think it'd be that bad, especially if they exchange the money 1-for-1 with the Canadians. Just say, okay, you've got 30,000 Canadian in the bank. We're going to give you 30,000 US dollars. We're just going to do a 1-for-1 exchange. Keep it easy. All those Canadians would be like, oh shit, I got money now.
Yay! No more Monopoly money.
Yeah, no
I
more.
think
No
the
more of this.
biggest thing that, like, if I were a Canadian and the U.S. was like talking about forming a union, the thing I would be happiest about would probably be actually having a Bill of Rights that my government can't just step in and stomp on whenever they want.
Yeah, not like the Brits now that you can't say anything Islamic. Anything you say Islamic over there, and you get visited by the police because people get
that British guy saying that he's going to go after Americans for talking shit online.
Yeah, a
He's
Starmer.
like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Good luck with that. Come on over here and try to arrest somebody. See how that works out.
yeah.
Like, I mean, you might be one of our strongest allies, but that won't stop somebody from busting a cap in your ass. You step out of line. I mean, come on, man. It's like, really? You think we're going to abide by your bullshit?
Yeah.
And,
Sorry,
and what's crazy
freedom of
is,
speech. We can say whatever we want.
Right.
We don't care.
as long as what we say is not illegal, we can say it.
Yeah.
And there's only a very few things that are illegal. So, and it's so weird that all of the other states like us, like the Commonwealth states, none of them adopted a Bill of Rights. They all just kind of kept saying that the government could just be in charge of everything.
Well, I got a feeling that Keir Starmer, the premier or whatever the fuck he is over the prime minister, he's on a short leash. As soon as somebody famous gets raped by a Muslim rape gang or something like that, there's gonna be a hell to pay over there, and it's gonna get ugly fast.
So we're after 2 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up
Okay.
and move on.
Okay.
But you guys have a wonderful day. Mobius,
Oh.
I wouldn't worry about, bro. And peace out to all of you.